I'm Brian Elliott, and I am an agent here at Premier Speakers Bureau. I'm over the faith-based sector, as well as government agencies and chambers of commerce. And I'm here with New York Best Times selling Andy Andrews. And I'm so thrilled that you're here in the studio with us today.
Man, I'm honored to be here. Thanks for taking the time.
No problem. And so I've got just a few questions for
Okay.
you. You're known as, like I said, a New York Times best-selling author, speaker for large events, motivational speaker, helping people find their fullest potential. Tell us, a lot of times what churches and faith-based organizations are looking for is to know somebody's personal faith story.
Right.
And so I wonder if you could just tell us a little bit about your personal faith story. And
My dad was actually a Baptist minister, and so I grew up in the church and accepted Christ at an early age, and have had just I feel like there was a time in my life where when my mom and dad died, and I was literally homeless for a period of time, and people say, "Well, did you leave the Lord then?" And no, I really didn't. I can't say I understood everything. That's always been my big aggravation with God, is He never seems to be under any obligation to tell me what He's doing. And yet every time I can look behind me, I can see His hand guiding every part of my path. And so now it has been amazing to me, because I do a lot of dates with football teams and with corporations and that kind of thing. And several years ago, I asked God, I said, can I just do churches? Can I just go out with Bill and Gloria a lot? I do 3 or 4 things a year with the Gaithers, and so I still continue to have these huge opportunities with corporations and football teams and basketball teams and colleges, and I understand why. The reason, because you can Google me and pretty easily and quickly tell that I'm a Christian. A Christian publisher does my books, Thomas Nelson, and yet when I go into these places, I'm talking to mainly secular audiences and able to say things that I want to say, and to be able to share my faith with them. And so this happens. I always feel like if you say it in a way that everybody's cool with it, then it's great. And this is what I do. But the most fun things that I get to do are when I actually do get to work with churches and that kind of thing. And I actually this weekend I'm with Sherwood in Albany, Georgia, with Michael Catt. That's the church that does all the movies, Courageous and Fireproof and Facing the Giants. And so I'm going in there and really looking forward to it. That's my second time there.
That's great. What are some of the, with all the different sort of events that you do, you had mentioned a few of them, what are some that you're most passionate about? Is it leadership events? Is it, organizational, helping an organization with their structure? What type of events are?
Here's one of the things I always clear up. I'm not a motivational speaker.
Okay.
If what you want is for somebody to just stand up there and tell you to have a good attitude for an hour, I'm not your guy, because I kind of feel like your mother should have told you that, right? And because what I want to do is I'm more into proof. I'm more into helping people understand ways they can be more effective. And if you follow the website at all, you know that we have great success with this. We have great success with helping companies. The best we've done is 400% in 1 year. But I love taking churches and helping them understand how it is possible to double in 6 months and to triple in a year, and to do it in a great integrity-based way. And so to go in and light a fire with purpose with people, I love doing that. And I also love taking leadership with small groups and helping them to generate a plan that puts them firmly outside the box of normal, which is what everybody is doing. If you're doing what everybody else is doing, you're just contributing to the average. And do you want to be average? No. You want to be way above average. So we're going to have to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, that's so good. In your Traveler's Gift presentation, you talk about 7 decisions that determine personal success.
Right.
When you're speaking to organizational leaders, could be a church, could be a faith-based ministry,
right,
could be a crisis pregnancy center, when you're talking with those organizational leaders, which of those decisions do you think is the most important?
I think that all 7 of them rest on each other. You could say that the first one, the responsibility thing, is the most important, because without the understanding of that, there's no way to move forward. And of course, everybody hears about responsibility, but what I do is bring out little different things that people have never seemed to have heard. Because frankly, Brian, I have prayed for years, God, give me some understanding of things that people need to hear, and give me simple ways to explain complicated issues. And of course, responsibility is one of them. That's the greatest fight you'll hear on talk radio. You got one side going, until these people accept responsibility, and you got the other side going, but it's not their fault. But the thing that most people don't understand is neither side is correct. Responsibility doesn't have anything to do with blaming people or making people feel bad. It has everything to do with hope and control. Because when you blame your mama or your daddy or the weather or the president, there's not a lot of control there. But if I can look in the mirror and say, you know what, I've had some crazy things happen in my life, and I couldn't change any of them. But I have made choices in response to those crazy things that have led me down a path to a place I don't like. If you can understand you can make choices that lead you to a place you don't like, that's great news. Because if you understand you can make choices that lead you to a place you don't like, doesn't it just make sense? You could make choices that lead you to a place you do like. And that's frankly what all the other decisions are about, is about the wisdom to make correct decisions. To seek wisdom in a way that God prescribes for us is amazingly accurate in its ability to create unbelievable production in your life.
That's great. When you go to speak to an organization or an event, what are a couple of the takeaways that you hope that people leave with after hearing you?
One of the things that I want people to understand is that if it's a faith-based event, I want people to understand that God loves us. So many of us have been beaten up by what the world calls religion, and yet Jesus is someone who is accepting us. That is available. And I think that so many times we as organizations or individuals don't make ourselves great representatives of Jesus because we seem a little bit too unavailable and a little bit too judgmental. And so to help people understand, that God is love, and that this is a huge part of helping the world come over to our side. We believe and we know we have the truth. And so sometimes it can be as simple as helping people be interested in a search for the truth. Because if they find the truth, they're just going to believe like we believe anyway, right?
That's right.
And so I think that is a huge takeaway, is that there is something that can be done. And I think another huge takeaway, probably maybe the biggest, is that what you do matters. Everything you do matters. And I can actually prove it. We go through a process, 6 or 7 minutes, of the butterfly effect. It's just one of my books, but you can see in the book how things connect. And to understand that every single thing you do or don't do matters for everybody and for all time. It's proof. And when you can take a child and help them understand that everything matters, when you can take a hurting adult and realize that there are choices, there are things that we can do that really do matter, that really do change things, it's an amazing thing to see.
I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you,
Thank
buddy.
you for sitting down with us.
Appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
So, Andy Andrews, give me a call to talk about pricing and availability. It'd be a tremendous asset for your event.